Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. This is your host, Will, again here. Today we're going to be talking about the NFL draft that just happened this last week, the NBA playoffs, and the NHL playoffs. I'm sorry I haven't got an MLB video out in a while. I will have one out soon. I want to talk about that, but I probably need to dedicate a whole video to that rather than just kind of a short snippet in this video. I also have changed the angle. The light coming into the window has kind of affected how the camera sees me, so I'm kind of changed the camera angle a bit. But go ahead and get into it for today. The NFL draft started last Thursday, went through last Saturday. Excuse me. And it was no surprise that the Chicago Bears took Caleb Williams, number one overall. He actually surpassed Caitlin Clark's record for number of jersey sales from a draft um, that Caitlin Clark set earlier this year, which was insane that Caitlin Clark was able to set that, the most jersey sales ever on a draft day, and then Caleb Williams just a short time later does it himself. But the Bears have got to be pretty excited for this. This is who they wanted to get. They wanted Caleb Williams. Their general manager was one of the guys that helped the Chiefs pick Patrick Mahomes, so this guy obviously has an eye for talent. So we will see how this works out. Obviously, he's a very talented guy. They have great weapons there in Chicago, so we will see how they do. Exciting times for the Bears. And then at number two, the Washington Redskins, Commanders, football team, whatever you want to call them, they took Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner, at number two. This is a good pick by them. They need a quarterback. I like even though I'm a Cowboys fan and I don't like Washington, they're putting together a solid team there with Dan Quinn as their coach. I mean, they got some good offensive line with Tyron Smith and Tyler Biotish, and now they've got their quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I think they're putting together a team that can be pretty competitive this upcoming season. And at number three, the New England Patriots took Drake May. They got their guy out of North Carolina. That's the guy a lot of people said that they were going to take. And on draft night where I was at, actually, one of the guys there was like, he is the most New England looking quarterback that they could have taken. Like, the guy just looks like he's from New England, which is kind of funny. But that's the guy they wanted. And at number four, the Arizona Cardinals took Marvin Harrison Jr. A lot of people said he's the most talented wide receiver in this draft class. A lot of people wanted him. There was a lot of speculation of how this would go. I mean, the top three was everyone kind of knew that that's how this was going to go, that you were going to have the top three be Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. That's what a lot of people thought would be the top three. And then after that, there was a little, people thought, will the Cardinals take a quarterback? What are they going to take Martin Harrison Jr.? And he's the best player available there. And it kind of breaks down from there of people don't know what's going to happen after that. Because there was some speculation my Titans with the number 7 pick could end up with Marvin Harrison Jr. It was an outside possibility, but he could fall to them. And people were talking about the Titans could have him there. And if he fell there, you got to take him. He's the most talented guy there. But the Titans' need has been offensive line. That's what they need most. And so, being a Titans fan and a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, I wanted the Titans to get Joe Alt. But the San Diego Chargers took him with the number 5 pick. The Giants took Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU, at number 6. And then the Titans at number 7 got J.C. Latham, offensive tackle, out of Alabama. Now, they're hoping this guy will be the left tackle. He played right tackle in college, but he did play left tackle in high school. So there's some hope for the Titans that this guy can be their future left tackle. He can be the protector on the blind side for Will Levis. And the Titans' left side offensive line could end up being pretty good. They got Quessenberry at center. They got Skoronski at left guard. And now J.C. Latham at left tackle. Their left side of the offensive line could end up being a pretty good offensive line. And then at number 8, there was a kind of a head scratcher. This is the pick that a lot of people were saying was controversial. And there's a lot of controversy around this. At number 8, the Atlanta Falcons took Michael Penix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. The guy lit it up in the playoffs. In the game against Texas, that guy was just throwing dimes. And he looked amazing in that game. So I thought he would go pretty high, and I was like going into the draft, I felt like no one was talking about Penix. Like this is the guy that was, and some people had said he was in competition for the Heisman. You know, he had a great season, and like I was like this guy's great, but like no one was talking about him in the draft, and I was kind of like this is a little odd. Um, the Falcons took him, but they just gave a ton of money to Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback. Now, Kirk Cousins is 36, so he's not going to be there forever. But they gave him a bunch of money. They feel like they have a winning team. And at the draft watch party that I was at, there was a Falcons fan there, and he was actually pretty upset over this pick. He was saying that the Falcons needed to try and get a defensive guy to solidify up their defense. Felt like their offense is good, and then they just needed to kind of get some pieces around, and they had their quarterback in Cousins. And a lot of Falcons fans are up in arms about this. And a lot of people were pointing out during the draft when it showed the Falcons war room that it looked like the owner, Arthur Smith, was having a discussion with the general manager, and the general manager was trying to seemingly explain the decision to pick Penix there. Kirk Cousins was upset about it because he was not told that they were going to draft a quarterback in the first round. So now, like, he might see it as a threat to his starting position. And obviously, that means they're also not getting a top high talent to put on the team around him. So there's some issues there, some controversy. But I will say, I think this guy, when he does get to play, I think he's going to be a great guy, great quarterback for that team. It might be 3 or 4 years down the line before he gets to play. But I think when he does, he is going to show a lot of people why the Falcons picked him at number 8 there. He was a great quarterback in college, so we will see how he ends up with the Falcons and how that story progresses. Then at number 9, the Bears took Rome Odunze out of Washington, another wide receiver, another weapon for Caleb Williams. Like I said, the Bears are going to be a decent team on offense next year, as long as they're all healthy. I think they could be a good team. Then the Vikings took at number 10, I think they traded up. Yeah, they traded with the Jets to get that pick there. And they took J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan, quarterback. This was a pick that some people were saying was going to happen. I guess they're higher on his ceiling than some people are. I think J.J. McCarthy's a good quarterback. I think he's a better version, perhaps, of Stetson Bennett. But I don't know how good he actually is, or if he's really like that kind of franchise quarterback. I kind of feel like this is a reach by the Vikings, that they maybe should have picked someone else here and tried and get another good high pick next year and maybe take a quarterback next year. But we'll see. I mean, he could prove people wrong. Tom Brady, when he was a quarterback out of Michigan, proved people wrong when he got to the NFL. So we'll see with J.J. McCarthy. Some other interesting picks in the first round. The Denver Broncos took Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon, at number 12. And they need a quarterback. Some people are saying that this isn't a good pick. Some people are saying, oh, it is. I kind of think that it is because they need a quarterback. And Bo Nix only had 3 interceptions last year with Oregon. Now, obviously, he probably is not going to throw just 3 interceptions as the quarterback of the Broncos. If he does, he either has not played a lot or he has a phenomenal season. But I think he's going to throw more picks than that with the Broncos. But I think this is a decent pick, especially how good he has been in college. That this is a decent pick. They needed a quarterback, and they feel like they've got their guy here. So good pick by the Broncos. The next pick at number 13, the Raiders took Brock Bowers out of Georgia at tight end. This was kind of a head scratcher to me. They took Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame last year at tight end. I think they took him in the second round. I wanted the Cowboys to get him, but Michael Mayer's a great tight end. He's kind of like the Jason Witten, where he kind of tight end where he's going to block a little more, but he's still deadly in the pass game. Taking Brock Bowers, he's more of a pass catcher, but it's kind of interesting to have 2 really talented tight ends and not like other skill positions like wide receiver or running back. It's a little odd to me to take Brock Bowers there. I think he's obviously a talented tight end, and a lot of people had him going top 10 in this draft. But it seems a little odd to take top end tight ends in back-to-back seasons for the Raiders in the draft. Some other interesting picks. The Colts took Latu. I think that's how you pronounce his name, out of UCLA. This is a very talented guy. He previously played at, I believe, Washington, and then he retired due to injury, and then ended up playing at UCLA again. So this guy's obviously a really talented guy, but he might have some health concerns going in to the NFL. And he's an defensive edge guy. So the Colts have got a talented guy there that might be injury prone. Some other interesting picks. In number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers took Troy Fatunua out of Washington, offensive guard. And I made a joke that they looked at his name and thought, oh, Troy Polamalu, and just picked him. Like, his name almost looks like that. Troy Fatunua instead of Troy Polamalu. But it's got the Troy and then the Polynesian last name, so I know that's low hanging fruit. It's a low joke there, but I couldn't help myself, and it was too close. And then my Cowboys, we traded down from the 24th pick to the 29th pick and took Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. The Cowboys need to fix their offensive line. That's one of their issues, losing Tyron Smith and Biotish in the offseason. So getting offensive tackle was a good pick there, even though I would have liked to see maybe a defensive guy or a quarterback. It might be another year before we see the Cowboys take a high-end quarterback. That was just the first round. I didn't really follow the next few rounds of the draft as closely. And I did not follow college football well enough this past season to know the guys or be familiar with some of the guys that were drafted. So I'm just going to stick on the first round there. But it was a good draft. It broke the record in Detroit for most people attending it that Nashville previously said. I think they said there's like over 750,000 people over the 3 days that were there. I think day one had like 270,000 people at round one of the draft. And there was also a record, there was 21, I think, offensive players taken in the first round. That's the most ever. The previous record, I think, was like 14, something like that. There's also the first 14 players selected were offensive players. Actually, I can look at it because I've got the draft pulled up here. Yeah, first 14 players selected were offensive players. There were, I think, 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. It's the most quarterbacks ever taken in the first round. It's also a record for most consecutive offensive players taken to start a draft at 14. The previous record was 7. That was, I think, 3 years ago. So we see the league is slating a lot more offensive style. I would like to see them balance that a little more with defense, but there's going to need to be rule changes for that to happen. Anyway, I've talked about the draft a little too long there. We're going to move over to the NBA and NHL playoffs. We'll start with the NHL. Sunday night, my New York Rangers swept the Capitals. We won 4-2, swept them 4-0 to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Rangers kind of seem to have held the Capitals' record in the playoffs. And this Rangers team, they won the President's Trophy. They've got the best record in the NHL. They've played phenomenal all season. That's why they have the best record. And they just eviscerated the Capitals. It seemed like they went in, it looked like they had a plan, and they just performed that plan well. They executed, and it worked out. They scored more goals than the Capitals. They swept them. They played hard. They played hard on defense. Matt Rempe definitely filled his role of the goon, just knocking guys down. And Igor Shesterkin looks like one of the best goalies in the league. He is literally the next Henrik Lundqvist. Hopefully he gets a title, unlike Henrik Lundqvist. But the Rangers look really good. Artemi Panarin played like an MVP this season. So, and you got Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider that are deadly goal scorers. Adam Fox, who's a former Norris Trophy winner. So the Rangers are really good, and they showed it in the Capitals series, just sweeping them. There was only really a couple of the two games in Washington. Washington, I think, had a lead in both of those games, but that's as close as it ever was. They had two leads, and then the Rangers took the lead back and won. Um, the Rangers are going to look really deadly. Now they're um, going to play the winners of the Islanders and Hurricanes series. The Hurricanes currently have a 3-1 lead over the New York Islanders. Game 5 is tonight at 6:30. I'm going to pick the Hurricanes to win it. They're the better team. They've gone on some playoff runs the past few years. The Islanders kind of had to go on a run to kind of get in this position. They're a younger team. Hurricanes are a little more experienced. I'm picking the Hurricanes to win that series. They're up 3-1. Was there any other series that ended? Last night, the Panthers won 6-1 over the Tampa Bay Lightning to beat them 4-1 in the series and advance the Eastern Conference semifinals. They'll be playing the winners of the Bruins and Maple Leafs series. Also, last night, the Stars beat the Golden Knights 4-2 to even up that series 2-2. I believe the Golden Knights had a 2-0 series lead. Am I right in that? Yes. Then the Golden Knights had a 2-0 series lead, and now the Stars have won 2 games in a row to tie back up. The away team has won every game in that series so far. Tonight, the games are going on. We got the Predators and Canucks. That's at 9 o'clock tonight. It's game 5. Vancouver leads the series 3-1. It would have been tied up 2-2. Nashville was up 3-1 late on Sunday night, and the Canucks scored 2 late goals in the third period to tie the game, and then scored a quick one in overtime to win, to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Hopefully the Predators can get back in the series, but we will see on that. The Canucks were one of the best teams in the NHL this season, and they're showing it so far, having a 3-1 series lead over the Predators. Predators got their work cut out for them to come back. The Bruins Maple Leafs series. The Bruins also play tonight. Bruins Maple Leafs play tonight. Bruins hold a 3-1 lead in that series. I'm going to pick the Toronto to win another game. I know I picked Toronto to win this series in advance, but it's looking like Boston's gonna beat them this year. Also, we've got Avalanche Jets tonight, and that's Game 5 as well. The Avalanche hold a 3-1 series lead over the Jets. I picked the Avalanche in my pre-playoff selection to win this series. To me, it looks like they're going to win it. They're up 3-1. They're the better team. They've got more experience. They won the Cup 2 years ago. I think they're going to advance the Western Conference semifinals and play the winner of the Golden Knights and Stars. In the Canucks Predators series, the winner of that will play the winner of the Oilers and Kings series, which Edmonton currently leads 3-1. When was the last game in that series played? That was the last game in that series was played Sunday night. Oilers won 1-0 to take a 3-0 lead. Their next game is Wednesday. I'm assuming that's due to TV instead of them playing tonight. The NBA and NHL do their playoffs weird, where really the NBA doesn't more than the NHL, but where teams don't play every other night. It's weird. It's wonky. But Edmonton has a 3-1 series lead, and if they win in advance, they will play the winner of the Canucks and Predators series. So we might get a Canada series there between the Oilers and Canucks. Or if the Kings and Preds rally, we could have an American series. But that's currently the NHL playoffs. I would still say my favorite to win it's the Rangers. How they manhandled the Caps. I think them and the Panthers look like the two best teams in the East. In the West, the Oilers are pretty good. They look pretty strong. The Canucks also look strong, and you can't count out the Golden Knights just because they won the Cup last year. They're the defending champs. I know they were one of the last teams to get into the playoffs this year. Kind of have that Cup hangover, but they're still a really good team. They won the Cup last year for a reason.
and you can't just expect them to roll over. They're going to give you a fight. So that's the NHL playoffs currently. Moving over to the NBA playoffs, my New York Knicks took a 3-1 series lead on the Sunday over the 76ers. A close game again. This has been a great series. As some people have said, it has the feelings of a conference finals or even NBA finals with the fan atmosphere at games, the chants, how the players are playing. They're tight, close games. Players are playing injured. Joel Embiid has multiple injuries and is playing. This is a tight series, and Game 5 is tonight at 6 on TNT. The Knicks are 4.5-point favorite. I'm going to say the Knicks close out here. I think Embiid playing hurt definitely has swung the favor towards the Knicks. I know they were the 2 seed anyway. I should say we're the 2 seed anyway. But if Embiid's healthy, I think this series could go 7 games. But I'm going to say the Knicks win tonight and close it out. I'll go through the other games tonight. Other games tonight is Game 5 of Cavs Magic. That series is tied up 2-2. And then Game 5 of the Pacers Bucks. The Pacers surprisingly have a 3-1 series lead, but Giannis is hurt. I think Lillard is hurt also. So, this is looking up to be a dream matchup for my Knicks. That if the Pacers can win, we don't have to face Giannis. We get to face the Pacers. We'll take that any day instead of having to face Giannis. He's just always played well against New York. But getting to play the Pacers would be great, and would give the Knicks a great opportunity to reach the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a long time. That Game 5 is at the Bucks tonight. Indiana's favored by 4.5. Cleveland's 5.5 favorite over the Magic. Last night, the Celtics won 102-88 to put their series up 3-1 over the Heat. The Thunder swept the Pelicans last night, 97-89. They're advancing. They're the 1 seed in the West. They've looked like it all year, and they're gonna continue to play well. And the Nuggets, they beat the Lakers 108-106 last night to close out their series 4-1 as well. Is there any other games? The Clippers Mavericks on Sunday. Clippers won 116-111 to tie that series up 2-2. The Timberwolves also won on Sunday over the Suns 122-116 to close up their series 4-0, sweep the Suns. Let's see what games are on Wednesday. Heat Celtics tomorrow is Game 5. Like I said, Celtics have a 3-1 lead, and Game 5 of Mavs Clippers is also tomorrow night. So that's well, this is nifty. ESPN's got a little bracket here. No, that's the in-season play-in. I was like, oh, that's cool. They got like a bracket laid out for me. They don't. It was a lie. But I would say the favorites to win the NBA Finals have to be the Celtics. They've been the best team all year. The Nuggets are the defending champions. I think you've got to put them there. And OKC has played phenomenal all year. They're in that conversation as well. The Timberwolves have played outstanding. They're also in the conversation. I think the Knicks might kind of be in that next tier of, hey, we maybe make it there. We've got a chance. Don't forget about us. So I think the Knicks have an outside shot at making the NBA Finals. I don't think we would win it if we got there, but I think there's a chance we could make it there. But we gotta finish out the series with the 76ers first. Beat the Pacers, who are a good team. They're just finished a few games behind us in the standings. There's kind of a log jam there in the East standings. A bunch of teams real similar in record there. And then beat the Celtics, who I think are probably the best team in the NBA. They were my pick before the playoffs to win it all, and they're still my pick now to win it all. I think they're the best team. That's all I have for this video. I'm off work this morning, so I'm gonna have to go in eventually. I can't talk here forever. That's all I've got. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know who's going to win the NBA Finals, who's going to win the Stanley Cup Finals. What are your thoughts on the NFL draft? Did you get who your team? Did you get who you wanted? Sorry, I'm messing this up. Did your team draft who you wanted? Were you a Caleb Williams fan? Did you want Michael Penix?
Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.